Listen to this podcast now on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Why is the middle class shrinking? Why are people facing an affordability crisis while marginalized individuals called informals grow in numbers? Join me as I travel the world, speaking with people living in invisibility, the leaders working to solve it, and uncovering the hard truths shaping our economy and daily reality.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me, taxi.
Okay, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Sunday morning. With us today is Jay Jackson, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the Abacus Global Group, New York Stock Exchange Company with the symbol of ABS. He's a good friend, and boy, I heard him speak the other day, and I said, you have to come on the WABC and talk about it. He predicts, his financial company predicts the life expectancy of almost anybody and buys back insurance policies, and better off spending the money while you're alive than dying and you don't get the money. Well, Jay, did I describe it right?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I would just make sure we're clear. The symbol is A Apple, B Boy, X X-ray, just so all the listeners have it. And you did describe the company, I think, really well. And it's in layman terms, we use data, updated medical data, to help people better understand, right, where they are in their position in life today and what the outcomes look later. John, what's so important is, what's the number one fear of somebody entering retirement? It's running out of money, right? Shouldn't they have a better understanding of how long they're going to be in retirement? And that type of financial data can be applied in lots of different ways. We also use it to give them a current value of their life insurance policy. That was something that they took out to their family.
You know what the scary thing is? That you're 90% of the time you're correct. So I'm scared to have you run. I'm scared to have you run a dossier on me.
Well, you know what's interesting, though, is that wouldn't you rather have me be greater than 90% correct than not correct at all and putting out false data? But what you touch on is super important. A lot of people might say, I'm afraid of knowing what that data is because I don't want to impact the way I look at life. My point is very much the opposite. This should help you look at a more positive way in life. Listen, John, we're not going to be here forever, right? Dick Van Dyke was the first centurion ever over 6 foot tall. Think about that. There's never been anybody over 6'4", age 95. When we start to think about our planning, we need to have a better and clearer understanding of what that means.
Now, I heard some statistics. You were on with my friend Greg Kelly a couple of weeks ago, and I heard some statistics. Right. I said, holy cow. The old Phil Rizzuto, holy cow. Give us some statistics that you told Greg.
Yeah, some of the things that we were focused on was just getting a better understanding of how we think about our finances in retirement. Because ultimately what happens is 9 times out of 10, what people do is they're so concerned of running out of money, they don't spend enough to take care of themselves. And ultimately where that leads them is a place that we forget about mental health. Mental health can be a crisis in a lot of areas, but here's something people don't understand. The population segment with the highest suicide rate by age, you know what that is? Over the age of 75. Over the age of 75. The highest suicide rate in the United States. It's crazy. And it's all because when we think about this, right, we're so afraid of saying, oh, man, do I want to know the results? My point is, once you get there, you lose sight of what's really valuable, what's really important. What our premise is, by giving you this data, you can actually have a huge impact on your life, meaning what's your most valuable asset? Everybody thinks it's their car, their home, their whatever, watch, who knows? I say it's time. And if I can give you time back, we have really given you something powerful in the sense of understanding how much time you have left, right? Because if you're age 65, you've got a 50-50 shot to live into 90. How are you managing that? How are you having those conversations? Are you looking at all your assets, including your life insurance policy? That's an asset, John. That's personal property that can be sold and utilized today versus waiting when you pass away.
Now, what's the age groups that people start to look at that? Is it at 65? Mm-hmm. Is it at 70? Is it at 75? When do you start to think about it?
Great. Yeah, it's a really great question. I think at 65, people are fine-tuning what's going to happen, right? And then when they get into their 70s, everything changes. Physically, they change, and then financially, they change. They're downsizing. They're looking at a lot of things a little bit more closely. And 9 times out of 10, this is what every life insurance policyholder does. They just stop making payments. And that's a tragedy, right? Because they're just leaving money on the table. When that happens, they cancel the contract, insurance company wins. If they visit with us, we can say, hey, that contract may be worth several $100,000 in today's value. Use that capital to fund your retirement, and your heirs will appreciate you more for it.
Now, I would look at it as good news in a different way. If I was, let's say I'm 75 right now, and I said to you, you do the analysis on me, and you say, oh, you're going to live to 85. Then the other thing I may do is try to eat healthier, have more examinations, and try to extend that life.
That's exactly right. We give you that data, and we have all the data to support this. As, by the way, John, I would come to you and say, one of the biggest impacts that you can make to your lifespan and your health span, for that matter, is exercise, right? Go for a walk and put some weights in your hands. Understand that using weights is super, super important. So eating healthy, making some of those changes. Like, there's a couple things that really change people in life. See, you ever hear about that person that has the heart attack and all of a sudden they get healthy? Why wait till the heart attack? Right? My question, and what Greg and I spoke about, and what you and I want to focus about, I'm trying to flip people's mindset to say, listen, if you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s, you've got to answer this question every single day. Look in the mirror and ask, what would my 80-year-old self say to me right now? We all want to go back in time, right? But it would be like, you know what?
Eat less steak. Eat less steak and have more fish, I guess.
Maybe, but I would say steak's okay, right? If you're getting protein, I think it would probably say things like, have some weights, man. I don't want to sit in a wheelchair right now.
Yeah.
I want to be as mobile as I can. I want to be active. I want to be engaged. We've got this silver tsunami of baby boomers who are starting to adopt this. And what Abacus is doing that's so different, we're building customized solutions for them based on their lifespan and how they can impact it by making these improvements.
Jay Jackson, thank you so much for coming on this Sunday morning, and thank you for the tips. And I think it can be helpful in many, many ways. And let's catch up again real soon.
Look forward to it. Thank you, John.
Let Century Management Solutions get you to your next medical appointment. They specialize in non-emergency medical transportation, connecting patients to care, safety, reliability, and on time. Their advanced technology platform seamlessly coordinates patients, healthcare providers, insurers, and transportation partners all in one powerful network. With over 200 trusted transportation providers, they deliver scalable solutions backed by real-time tracking and complete transparency. Go to SENTRYMS.com.